Hello and welcome back to Design Draw Do. My name is Noor. I am the host of this channel and I wanted to introduce you today to a really cool technique that you can use to improve your art reference analysis. So when we are doing art, obviously we should use references. It's not a bad thing, contrary to popular belief. And when we're using those references, it's a good idea to analyze them in order to be able to make good and meaningful art. For those of you who don't know, I produce and host a podcast called the Pixel Paper Podcast, where I interview up-and-coming digital artists. And this week I interviewed my former classmate, Diana, who's currently a master's student of architecture. And this video is completely inspired by her dissertation, which she recently completed and which I was lucky enough to be a part of, where she investigated the perception of atmosphere in architectural drawings. Now that sounds kind of fancy, and architecture really does like to overcomplicate things, but don't worry, it's not that complicated. I wanted to focus on something specific that she asked us participants to do, and it really kind of changed the way I thought about approaching my drawings. She provided us with a photo, and within 5 minutes we had to kind of emotionally analyze how the atmosphere of the photo made us feel, and she gave us a table of words which was supposed to help us in doing this. Once that was done, and we only had 5 minutes, we then had to translate these into a drawing. Even just analyzing the reference photo for 5 minutes beforehand really allowed me to digest what I wanted to capture in the photo, and I therefore created a completely different result to what I would have had if I had simply drawn the photo point blank. I mean, I kind of came up with this contrasting color of orange versus blue, you know, kind of representing the contrast between warm and cool of the original photo. Today I wanted to try this exercise again with a photo that I took, and I wanted to see what I could come up with. I have given a link below to the article which I will be referring to, which contains the table of words down below, so you can follow along with the table that I refer to in order to analyze the photo reference. Just to note, it is a table which one of our lecturers actually made. His name is Raymond Lucas, and he lectures at Manchester School of Architecture. Alright, let's jump straight into the live segment. Okay, cool. So I have this image that I got from one of my archives. It's from India, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to analyze this photo. So I'm just going to take a few minutes to do this. So Diana basically gave us 5 minutes to do this exercise, and she gave us reference to this table called Sensory Notation by one of our lecturers at Manchester School of Architecture called Raymond Lucas. Basically, it includes different words like dark, bright, light, heavy, clear, reverberant, ambient, source, hard, soft. You know, it's basically kind of getting us to think what is in this image, what makes up the atmosphere of this image, and how we can kind of analyze that. So I'm going to start by analyzing this photo right here. Oh, just made a circle. I'm using this app called Paper by WeTransfer. It's a really cool app for note-taking, and it only costs about, well, in dirhams, it costs 3 dirhams a month. You can convert that accordingly. But as you can see, it's very less. I mean, 3 dirhams is not even £1, so you can do the maths. All right, let's see. So I have now a pen chosen. Let's choose a bright one. Let's choose red. Okay, right. So here you can see this really nice kind of moody photo. So what I'm going to do, first of all, what really strikes me is the contrast. So we have, oh gosh, we have these light and dark areas. So this app is quite cool because it automatically draws circles for me. So light, it also does automatic arrows. So if I, yeah, so light versus dark. So high contrast, oh gosh. As you can see, I've not used this app in a while. This particular pen kind of does, you know, automatic lines and things like that, so I think I'm just going to remove it because it's kind of annoying. It's a very moody photo, so you can see here it's quite moody. And it's nice, like you've got all these kind of lights, not lights, sorry, shadows and light, shadow play, let's say, which is cool. And you've got this really nice kind of, all these trees going everywhere. And I feel like this photo, it's quite, if I was to describe it, it would be more on the, well, soft side, I would say, because the lighting, it's quite like, you know, early morning light. I still remember we went out at about 6 a.m. to get to kind of walk, and then I just took a bunch of photos. It was in this park near our house in India. It's quite dry, I would say, you know, obviously, even though it's probably taken in about August. Yeah, it's taken in August, which is normally monsoon season in India, but this time it was quite dry. It hadn't rained, so it's quite dry. It's not really wet. You know, there's a lot of light. I quite like the way the light is falling on it. A lot of contrast here. It's quite clear as well, I would say. Generally speaking, though you do get like mist around here, which is quite cool. And I would say that despite the, let me change the pen so we can get a difference. Oh, let's do blue actually. I would say it's quite obviously natural. That's one of the words on the chart. And I would say it's actually kind of intimate, even though it's quite a big scene. I would say it's quite like, you know, the fact that this guy's walking, obviously he's very significant. I've not mentioned him yet, but you know, he's kind of the subject, and it's really nice that all of these things are kind of coming to frame him, you know, kind of inadvertently. It's quite, yeah, like it's quite nice. We've got this tree kind of coming. Yeah, like he's the focus, and everything in the photo is kind of contributing towards that, which is really nice. So it's quite intimate in that sense. It's very empty. So it's quite I don't know the word. Very ambient. I'm basically looking at the words on the chart and kind of comparing. And yeah, I think it's dark, but it's still saturated. Okay, I think I've exceeded my time. To be honest, that was kind of hard because I had to kind of, I had to talk whilst I was thinking about it. So I feel like I may have had some, I don't know, preconceived notions about it. It wasn't kind of an instinctual response. Obviously, I didn't even talk about this. This is kind of cool, but I feel like it's quite, like I would want to activate this if I was going to draw it somehow. You know, either with greenery or with some kind of, you know, it would be kind of cool if there was like a little animal in there. Not that I draw animals. I'm terrible at drawing living or animate objects. But, you know, it'd be kind of cool if this was animated, I don't know, in some way, maybe with some lights or with something that just kind of gave it some life. That would be cool. The only problem with this app, I think, is because it's like an actual sketchbook, so there's no layers. There's no layers features, so I can't turn things on and off. So I can see the drawing originally, so maybe I should have used like Procreate or something, but whatever, it's cool. I can always pull up the original image. And it's nice that the light kind of fades on. Wow, I really should have used something where I could turn off the layers so I can show you, but whatever. It's cool. And I think, to be honest, I've exceeded my time. So I'm just going to summarize what I feel this image is. Let's get another color. So, oh gosh, where's my pen? In summary, let's see. Let's summarize. So we have high contrast, focal lines, soft lighting, which leads to shadow play, and that also leads to quite soft colors, actually. Alright, I think that's a good starting point, so let's see where we can take this drawing with this analysis now out of the way. Okay, voiceover Noor is back. So this is now where I am showing you what I created after analyzing the photo. So using the table, I was able to establish a bunch of different things, which I showed you in the summary before, and I kind of used that mindset to go into the drawing. It helped me to understand the contrast and the value early on, and it really also helped me to establish the mood and perspective. I think it's just a good way to kind of understand what you want to do with the painting and what message you want to convey before jumping straight in. For the podcast, I've interviewed a lot of artists and illustrators recently, and a lot of them have said the same thing. You want to think about the story or the message that you are leaving behind with each image that you are drawing. When you kind of blindly draw something, unless it's for practice purposes, it's kind of meaningless and you're not really saying anything with the drawing. It's kind of like writing a bunch of nonsense words and expecting people to applaud you for it. I mean, if they're not saying anything, then, why would anyone understand the words? It's kind of the same thing with painting. So doing this analysis beforehand with the tools that help you to do this, such as the table of sensory notation, it's a very useful tool and a very useful way of kind of breaking down what message you want to leave the viewer. For this painting, I used the app Realistic Paint Studio, which I have introduced in my previous video, which I'll link in the cards. And this time, I decided to use color pencils. Last time I can't remember the medium actually, but I used soft pastels or watercolor or something. I think the colored pencils lend a soft quality to the drawing, which I kind of wanted to imbibe. And I also used a soft yellow colored paper, which also kind of warmed up the painting. Initially, I started off with a value study, as you can see, or as you saw in the beginning. I used a soft black pencil and I established the composition, the lights, the darks, and then I started going in with the darkest color of green. I pretty much used this everywhere, which was kind of a mistake because it eventually drowned out the lighter colors. And then I also used an eraser to kind of erase the parts where the light rays were kind of slanting into the forest. Other than that, I just kind of tried to get into the flow state and make this piece with those thoughts running in the background at the back of my head. I think what this analysis allows you to do is to kind of just get all your thoughts out before you do the painting. Otherwise you're kind of just thinking as you're doing the painting, and you don't really want to be thinking whilst you're painting because it kind of breaks the flow, or at least it does for me. Okay, now I'm just going to put on some nature sounds and let you enjoy the rest of this time lapse. Overall, I really appreciated even analysing a photo reference for 5 minutes to see what's already in the picture and what I can enhance. And I hope you found this video useful. I hope you will also start to analyse your reference photos and see what a difference it makes for your artwork. And with that, I will end this video here, and I'll see you next week for another video on this channel. Bye! Oh, P.S. you can check out the podcast as well. Link is in the description. All right, bye.